This is the Gravastar Mercury M1 Pro, and it is metal, okay? This isn't aluminum, this is magnesium. Drag this on some concrete, it will create sparks and catch stuff on fire, so don't do that, actually, okay? Don't do that with your Gravastar Mercury M1 Pro. It's really expensive, but I will say, okay, I'm gonna make it stop blinking right now. This mouse is very interesting. I don't think it's super useful for competitive gaming unless you're a gym head. Now hear me out, okay? You know how you have to train heavier weights so that the lighter weights can feel easier? For example, you were running with ankle weights, right? And all of a sudden you took them off. Your mile time would improve. That's kind of like what this mouse is, okay? It's 89 grams, which is only about a gram more than advertised, perfectly within reason. Let me tell you, man, this thing is front heavy and you really feel it, okay? This strains your wrist extremely. And I think I'm just being a sissy because I'm just so used to the Super Light 2 and a bunch of these like 55 to 60 gram mice. You know, I've been using them for like the past 4 years now, but this guy right here reminds me of wired mice. Let's just get into the cons right away so that you know what to expect. Pretty front heavy, so it means the front leads and then the rear end of the mouse just kind of drifts out. It has some shaky buttons. It just doesn't feel like the most solid. Something about these plastic buttons is just not cutting it. The side buttons, kind of bad. I can click the first side button, second one that's up front more, it's just super awkward. It doesn't feel correct to me at all. The ergonomics are not that great. It has that like compression towards the middle that I didn't like on the Attack Shark X3. So that's present here too. However, this mouse does feel bigger overall than the Attack Shark X3. The wrist pain that you get from this is just insane. I think it actually has to do with the shape of the mouse, just like how unergonomic these holes are. Like, you know, lightweight mouses, they have cutouts, but they're usually very tiny hexagons. This one just takes it to the extreme and does this AI alien mesh. It's just not really that good to hold in your hand. There was this really weird, okay, never mind. I'm not gonna talk about that. The skates kind of feel meh. I don't think there's enough of them. I think that the mouse is a little bit scratchy. I don't know if that's because the skates are bad, and it is so heavy that there is a literal chance that it's collapsing my Ninja FX Zero mouse pad and causing it to sink down and scratch on the plastic surface because the bottom of it is plastic, not metal. And I think they did that to save a little bit of weight. Also, this thing is RGB. I feel like they could have made a lightweight version. Maybe there is one out there that just doesn't have this weird plastic core on the inside and all of the RGB lights. I mean, I feel like it just makes it so heavy. You already have the fact that this is a magnesium mouse. Why add other stuff to it that just makes it heavier, right? Like the gimmick is already that it's magnesium. I don't think people want it to light up. This thing is really expensive. It was $84. It is only worth $84 if you really like this aesthetic, unless you absolutely need this aesthetic and the rest of your setup is like metal, space themed. I don't know if I would go for this metal one in particular for like extreme gaming or anything like that, but for casual use, office use, casual games, just nothing super serious where you're not straining your wrist, maybe something where you can get away with having a higher sensitivity and you don't have to move your arm as much, I would actually go for this. If you're a high sense player, this could be better because it would make you a little bit more stable. When you first get it, you think it's gonna be super cool. You don't think about the downsides of the actual material on your hand. It gets really cold when it's cold out, and it gets slippery when your hands are sweating a bit. So on the metal parts, I could feel it was starting to kind of slide around, and I didn't really like that at all. I thought it was a really weird feeling. It felt foreign to me as someone who's used plastic mice for my entire life. The skeleton design, it just does not support your hand. I don't know, they could have done something better here, okay? They could have filled this in or made there be a little bit more hexagons or something, right? Like, it's just not working, okay? This is just not working. This back part needs to be a little flatter. I know it looks aesthetic. Again, this mouse is all about aesthetic. You have to make some trade-offs if you're gonna make a crazy UFO mouse like this. I'm not hating, but it's just not the mouse for me. It might be the mouse for someone, but it's not the mouse for me. Now let's go into the pluses, all right? Because if you already got this far, you're probably deeply considering getting this mouse, or you're very intrigued in this mouse. And it does have its bonuses, all right? Obviously it came with a cord, but crucially it came with an adapter, which I don't see a lot of budget mice coming with that. Obviously, this is not a budget mouse. I'm glad it came with an adapter, because if it didn't, I would be raging. I'd be throwing this thing. And by the way, like if you want to see a durability test, all right? And I'm half serious about that. If we get a lot of likes, I might actually try throwing this at a wall or something, all right? The sensor felt great and accurate. No problems with that. Absolutely great. Being heavier made my aim actually pretty steady and less shaky. And it definitely trained me to take my time with my shots. I don't know how it's gonna feel to go back to a regular mouse after this, but I can only assume it's gonna be really nice. I have a theory that this can be used to make you faster with a regular mouse. I'm pretty sure my wrist just got muscles added to it after using this mouse, okay? I'm not trying to be dramatic. Genuinely felt sore in my wrist after using this for a competitive game. And look, it just has a really cool look. I'm not gonna take it away from this mouse. It's just baller, okay? This mouse is literally king stuff, man. Like, you are a freaking alpha king if you have a mouse like this, okay? No one can tell you nothing if you have this mouse and you have like an all metal alien setup on your desk. Look, I even got the like galaxy in the background and the green lights because this is a UFO like alien themed episode. Getting into the box, this thing had obviously the mouse, the adapter, the cable, manual, and the mouse grips. Now I would never add those things to this because it would just make it even heavier, but I can see why they include it now. If you're having like sweaty hands and it's slipping, you definitely want to use the grips that came with this thing. In the software, I didn't like it. It was very nondescript. There was no software update for this, which is crazy. It's an $84 mouse. Come on, give me a software update, guys. Yeah, I didn't like how they didn't really explain any of the options. Like, I can't read your mind, okay? Like, when I select something and it says something, you have to explain what it does, or at least have a little bit more details in the labeling, okay? I was able to kind of guess how to set it to like high performance mode, turn down the debounce, the lift off distance, all that stuff, turn off like the input shaping or whatever filter that it had. I turned that all off to give it a fair comparison to how I set up all my other mouses. It's a cool, purely vibes mouse, and it could have some applications for training, all right? You got your freaking esports weightlifting, okay? Instead of like going to the actual gym, you could just buy metal gaming peripherals and just call it a day, right? You'll get your heart rate up and stuff, right? So yeah, guys, stick around to have a lot more products. I mean, I just literally have endless products to review right now. Hope you enjoyed. I have a lot of stuff coming up. Subscribe, leave a comment below if you want me to review something in particular, and peace, guys.